Okay, so have you ever felt like, those big tech companies, they just have way too much power?
Mm.
It's like all our data is just floating around out there, you know,
Your cloud, yeah.
in some corporate cloud, exactly. And we have no control over it. Well, get this. Today, we're diving into something that could change all that. We're talking decentralized cloud computing.
Exciting stuff. And not just some futuristic fantasy. We're talking about real companies, real tech that's making this happen right now.
Yeah, and we've got our eyes on two big players, Flux and Alephium. They're teaming up to make this decentralized dream a reality.
And what's really cool is how this partnership, it's like it flips the script on its head. So instead of these giant corporations calling all the shots, imagine a future where you and we control our data, our own computing power.
Right, like a total internet do-over. So I
Exactly.
was doing a little research, and I stumbled across this podcast transcript, kind of meta, I know. But it was all about Flux and its
Yes.
mission to completely decentralize the cloud. And they kept talking about this global network of computers all working together.
Which is a perfect segue to Alephium. Because think
Mm.
of it this way. Alephium is building the superhighway, like a blockchain built for absolute speed and, massive scale.
Yeah.
But just
Right.
like any highway, you need multiple lanes to handle tons of traffic, right? So Alephium uses this thing called sharding, basically. It splits its network up into smaller parts so it can process tons of transactions simultaneously.
So instead of everyone being stuck in one lane, it's like having a massive multi-lane expressway.
Precisely. Less traffic jams, more efficiency.
I like it. But I'm still trying to wrap my head around how Flux fits into all of this. So Alephium has this superhighway, but what's Flux doing?
Okay, so picture this. Flux is like the digital landscape, right? And Alephium. They're constructing the infrastructure on top of it.
Yeah.
They're integrating these things called full nodes. Think of them like control towers for the Alephium network into Flux's decentralized cloud platform, Flux Cloud.
So it's like they're spreading everything out, making it more robust.
Exactly. More resilient, less prone to failure,
Yeah.
which is a big deal. Because we're not just talking some, abstract tech utopia here. This could actually change the entire internet as we know it.
Okay, so then give me an example. How does this impact, developers, for instance?
Imagine you're a developer, you've got this killer app idea.
Okay.
Flux is handing you this secure, affordable, and scalable platform to build on. And because it's all decentralized, you don't have to rely on a single provider who could just, pull the plug whenever they feel like it.
Oh, that's huge. So no more worrying about some big company controlling everything. I like where this is going.
Hmm.
But for us regular folks, what's the big takeaway? Faster internet, cheaper services.
You got it. Faster, cheaper, more secure, you name it. It's a win-win for everyone involved. And get this, remember those full nodes we talked about? They've got a contest going on right now where you can actually earn rewards just for hosting them.
Hold on, you lost me. A contest.
Yeah, like a competition.
Okay, so tell me more about that. So they're not just building this tech, they're actually getting people involved in the process.
Exactly. The more people participate, the stronger the network becomes. But before we dive into that, let's zoom back in on Alephium for a sec. We talked about sharding, but there's another secret weapon that makes them perfect for this. Smart contracts. Have you heard of those?
Smart contracts.
Yeah.
I feel like I have, but to be honest, I'm still not entirely sure what they are.
Okay, so imagine agreements or contracts, right? But instead of being written on paper, they're written in code. That's a smart contract. They automatically execute themselves when certain conditions are met. It's all automated, secure, transparent.
So it's like cutting out the middleman.
Exactly. No more need for lawyers or banks or any of those intermediaries. So by combining Alephium's smart contracts with Flux's decentralized cloud, we're not just talking about a better internet, we're talking about an entirely new ecosystem. Decentralized applications, services. The possibilities are limitless.
Wow, okay. So it's not just about speed and efficiency, but about shifting the power dynamic of the entire internet.
Exactly. Taking power away from big tech and giving it back to the people.
Wow, okay. This is starting to feel less like a simple tech upgrade and more like a full-blown digital revolution.
It's a paradigm shift, and it's just the beginning.
Okay, well, I am officially hooked. Tell me more about this contest. What's up for grabs, and how can people get involved?
All right, so the contest, it's all about getting people to host these Alephium nodes that we were talking about earlier.
So wait, I can earn rewards just by, running a program on my computer?
You got it. And the more nodes you run, the better your chances of winning.
And what are the rewards?
They're giving away Flux, the native cryptocurrency of the Flux platform.
Oh, interesting.
It's a win-win. You support the network and you get rewarded for it.
Okay, I like it. It's like we're all working together to build this decentralized future. But do you have to be like a tech genius to participate?
Not at all. Honestly, Flux has made it surprisingly user-friendly. They have this platform, Flux OS, where you'll find all the info about the contest and like step-by-step guides on how to set up your Alephium node.
That's fantastic. So they're really trying to make this accessible to everyone. This isn't just a tech revolution, it's a cultural shift,
Precisely.
empowering everyday people to be a part of the solution.
Yeah.
I love it. But let's be real, we've just barely scratched the surface, haven't we? I mean, building a decentralized internet, it sounds amazing, but what are some of the challenges? Like, what could go wrong?
That's a great question and one we definitely need to address. But first, why don't we take a quick break? When we come back, we'll dive into those potential roadblocks, the potential downsides, really unpack all of it. So stay tuned.
Okay, so before the break, we were like really getting into the weeds with this whole decentralized internet thing. And it sounds amazing in theory, but
Yeah.
are there any like downsides, potential challenges? What are the obstacles here?
Well, you have to look at both sides of the coin, right? And I think one of the biggest hurdles right now is just awareness. A lot of people they don't really get what decentralization actually means.
It's complicated.
It is, and why it even matters, right? So education, that's key.
Right.
We need to find like really clear, concise ways to explain these concepts, almost like, decentralization for dummies or something.
Yeah, because how can we expect people to be excited about something that they don't even understand?
Exactly.
It'd be like trying to explain the internet to someone back in like the 1980s.
Perfect analogy. And then on top of that, there's the usability issue.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, a lot of decentralized tech, it can be pretty intimidating, especially for, people who aren't already like tech savvy. So we need to make it more user-friendly.
Like super intuitive.
Yeah.
Like almost like as easy as using your smartphone, right?
Exactly. If it's too difficult, people just won't bother. But that being said, I do think this partnership between Flux and Alephium, it's definitely a step in the right direction.
Okay, I'm with you. They seem to be addressing both of those things.
Yeah.
But I want to take a step back for a second and just talk about the why here. Like, we've painted this picture of a decentralized future.
Yeah.
But why should people care? Like, what are the real world implications? Paint that picture for me.
Okay, so think about the internet today.
Okay.
Your data is everywhere. Data breaches, they're happening all the time. Your information is being collected, it's being sold.
Constant surveillance.
Right. Governments, corporations, they can censor what you see, what you do online. A decentralized internet, it flips that entire script.
Okay, so it's like we're giving the power back to the people.
You got it.
No more big brother watching our every move.
Exactly. You control your data. Imagine a social media platform where you own your content. You decide who profits from it. Or a voting system that's actually secure, like truly transparent. No more worrying about fraud or manipulation.
Those are some serious examples.
It has the potential to revolutionize so many aspects of our lives.
And what about developing countries?
Oh, huge implications there.
Where access to traditional banking and financial services is limited.
Exactly. So decentralized finance, DeFi, that could be a game changer for those communities.
Wow.
Giving them more control over their assets, more financial freedom. This partnership, it's not just about the technology. It's about creating a more equitable digital landscape for everyone.
Okay. You're right. This reminds me of like the early days of the internet. There was so much idealism back then, this sense that we were building something truly revolutionary. It kind of feels like we're on the cusp of that again.
It really does. It's an exciting time to be alive, to witness the birth of a new paradigm. And Flux and Alephium, they're leading the charge.
Totally. But before we get too carried away, I do want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
The potential downsides. Because a decentralized internet, yeah, it sounds incredible, but
Right.
what are the challenges we need to be prepared for? I mean, there's got to be some, right?
Oh, absolutely. And that's something that, we should never shy away from discussing. I think one of the biggest challenges is how do we prevent like illicit activities?
Yeah, that's a good point.
If there's no central authority, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do we stop things like online scams or the spread of misinformation? It's a valid concern. We don't want to create a system where anything goes, right?
Yeah, we don't want to replace one set of problems with a whole bunch of new ones.
Exactly. So finding that balance between freedom and security, that's going to be really, really tricky.
Mm-hmm.
And then another challenge is how do we ensure equitable access to this new internet. We don't want to exacerbate existing digital divides.
Oh, totally. Like, we don't want to create like a two-tiered internet where only the people with the resources and the know-how can actually participate.
Exactly. And that's why education, community building, those are going to be so important. We need to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to understand and engage with this technology no matter what their technical skills are, no matter their background.
It's a tough one, right? Like, how do we actually make this work? Balancing freedom and security, making sure everyone has equal access, not easy problems to solve.
It's definitely a balancing act, no doubt about it. But, I think the really cool thing about this whole movement is it's not about having all the answers right now. It's about, like, starting the conversation, experimenting, figuring things out as we go. It's a process.
It's like we're building the plane while we're flying it,
A little bit, yeah.
which is a little scary, but also kind of exciting.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it really feels like we're on the verge of something huge here.
Yeah.
Like, this could change everything. How we interact with technology, with each other. I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
For decades, the internet has been controlled by, like, a handful of companies.
Mm-hmm.
And they've accumulated so much power, so much influence, and often at our expense.
Yeah, for sure.
Decentralization, though, it offers a different way.
Yeah.
One where the power is more distributed, where we, the users, have more control.
It's about putting the power back where it belongs, in the hands of the people.
Right. It's like, I don't know, the Wild West of the internet all over again. But, like, in a good way. A chance to start fresh, Build something better. But we've got to be careful this time, right?
Oh, absolutely. We can't just repeat the same mistakes.
Learn from the past.
Exactly. We have to be very aware of the potential downsides and then, work to prevent those from happening.
So, for instance, how do we make sure that a decentralized internet doesn't just end up making existing inequalities even worse?
That's a big one, yeah. Because the reality is access to technology, digital literacy, those things aren't evenly distributed right now. We have to make a conscious effort to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to participate in this new digital world, not just the privileged few.
Exactly. And that's where, like you were saying, education is so crucial.
It's huge.
It's about empowering people, giving them the tools and knowledge to navigate this new world on their own terms.
Couldn't have said it better myself. It's not about forcing people into a new system. It's about giving them the agency to shape it.
This has been amazing. I've learned so much. Thank you. But really, we've only just scratched the surface here, haven't we?
Just the tip of the iceberg.
Ah.
But hopefully this conversation has at least, sparked your curiosity and maybe inspired you to, learn more about it, do some of your own research.
Yeah. If you're listening and something we've talked about today resonated with you, don't let that feeling fade. Do some digging. Explore the world of Flux, Alephium, decentralized technology. You might just discover your next passion or even end up being, at the forefront of this whole movement.
It's a fascinating space, that's for sure. And it's constantly evolving. Who knows what the future holds?
That's the beauty of it. It's all still being written. And on that note, this has been another deep dive. Thank you so much for listening. And until next time, stay curious.